Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Bang, 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 bang goes the farmer's gun. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, 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 run.
Sorry, man.
Okay.
In the movie, Peele uses POV shots and imagery of eyes to reveal that sight represents the way the authority is distributed in the film, relating it predominantly to slavery and the unjust history between African Americans and whites. One good example of this is the sunken place, how Missy Armitage looks down on Chris silently as he flails his arms and legs, trying to grasp what is happening, all while falling into the trance.
The audience gets a shot of Chris's eyes right before he goes into the sunken place. His eyes show the audience how helpless and scared he is. This can directly relate to slavery because slaves often felt helpless or scared.
Why can't I move?
You're paralyzed. Just like that day when you did nothing. You did nothing. Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
When Missy sends Chris into the sunken place, she gets up and rubs her thumb over his eye, just how Jesus did when he created the first man. He rubbed clay over his eyes. This shows that the Armitages are trying to do what God does, but cannot. It's unnatural.
In the sunken place.
The audience gets a deeper understanding of Chris's character based on the use of his camera. The lens of Chris's camera acts as an eye, trying to discover the truth about Georgina. We again see Chris is confused and attempting to discover truth behind the bizarre actions of Georgina. He's still studying Georgina, but this time at the party. Based on this, we can assume that Chris is very determined and he will continue to work on discovering the truth about the uncertain. Shortly after, he begins studying the dad and a group of people, furthering our understanding of his confusion. We meet the blind man. The blind man appears to be able to see Chris or an individual instead of a black man. Of course, he can't see, so we can assume he's under the impression that Chris is colorless. The blind man seems to relate to Chris. Neither of the two seem to belong with the rest of the group, so Chris has found his camera or eyes. Before, Chris isolated himself and used his camera or eyes to study people at the party. But here, Chris puts down his camera and has a normal conversation as if the two were belonging.
How'd you do it?
My assistant describes the work to me in great detail. You've got something. The images you capture, so brutal, so melancholic. It's powerful stuff, I think.
Thank you.
We get a shot of Georgina crying. This seems to tell the audience that Georgina is trapped or restrained somehow, and she's trying to fight it. She was in a good mood before and almost forced out tears as a sign to Chris. This is Peele using eyes as a sign of what is to come later in the film. The fact that she is smiling and laughing as she's forcing out tears proves that this is an unnatural cry.
No. Aren't you something? That's not my experience. Not at all. The Armitages are so good to us.
We get a shot of Logan's eyes after Chris took a picture of him. We seem to get a similar look as Georgina did minutes before. Logan seemed to look afraid and or trapped. The flash of Chris's lens, again acting as eyes, triggered Logan's escape of entrapment.
Get out. Sorry, man. Okay. Get out! Yo! Yeah! Yo, chill, man. Get out! Chill.
We see Missy send Chris into the sunken place, and we get a point of view shot from his eyes. It is important because it relates to the history of blacks. Because in the sunken place, Chris could hear and see, but could not move or say anything. Just like during slavery, when the blacks could hear and see, but couldn't say anything or move freely how they wanted to. They were trapped, just how Chris is in the sunken place. We see a shot of Jeremy and Dean carrying him, just how whites controlled the actions of blacks during slavery.
Easy. I can drop him all night. You're not gonna give me a look. Oh, okay, that was my fault.
You were one of my favorites.
The audience receives another image of a deer, but this time it's not alive. It is on the wall stuffed, and its eyes are stationary. This shows how valuable eyes are to life, and if Chris's brain was transplanted, he would figuratively speaking be dead, because he would no longer be able to use his eyes. When Chris is talking with Jim Hudson, it is the only time he feels comfortable throughout the final 30 minutes of the movie. Jim is the blind artist, and he is speaking to Chris while Chris is watching him. The whole movie, the white people have been using their eyes to watch Chris. At the party, Chris felt uncomfortable when everybody was looking at him. Now Chris is looking at the white people, and the whites aren't looking back at him. This shows the transformation from whites in control and the shift to Chris taking control.
Pleasant. I'm supposed to answer any outstanding questions, concerns you may have so far. Apparently, our common understanding of the process has a positive impact on the success rate of the procedure.